Good morning, all of you. In today's session, we are going to start with the 10th standard chemistry and physics, where unit 3, structure of atom, series number 5 is going to be discussed. Earlier, we completed series number 1 to 4, and in those sessions, we discussed about what are the fundamental things which are related with this structure of atom. And in this session, we are going to discuss about Bohr's atomic model, which is the fundamental model provided by Niels Bohr. And those postulates, what are the limitations of that postulates, are going to be discussed in today's session. So this is the line spectrum of hydrogen atom. So this is the fundamental thing. Hydrogen is the fundamental thing with the one electron in that, and the central nucleus consists of only one proton. Neutron will not be present. Only one and only one element without any neutron in the center is that is hydrogen only, right? One proton and one electron will be there without any neutron in that. When you go with deuterium, one neutron will be there. Tritium will contain two neutrons in that. But hydrogen atom in its elemental state, no neutron is present in that, and one electron, one proton will be there in this. By taking the simplest example, Bohr formulated some of the fundamental assumptions called Bohr's postulates. We are going to discuss about what are the Bohr's postulates with respect to hydrogen atom and what are the limitations of for this one. Let us examine line spectrum of hydrogen atom. This will be the line spectrum of hydrogen atom. What does a line spectrum tells us about the structure of an atom, right? Each element has a different atomic spectrum. Atomic spectrum is its own characteristic one. So based on that, so in the earlier class, we discussed that hydrogen line spectrum will be like this, and the helium will be like this, and an neon existing in this manner, sodium, mercury. Based on these line spectrum, you can identify what kind of element it is. It is the characteristic one. And by using this analysis of identification of elements are possible. So it is a tool to identify the elements. You can say it is the analysis process, right? So different atoms are there, are having distinct atomic spectrums. The production of line spectra by an atom or element indicates that atom can radiate only certain amount of energy. Okay, so each and every atom having their own capability to absorb the radiation, and some amount of energy will be emitted. That radiation amount of energy will be different for different kind of elements. How the fingerprints of each and every person is unique, in the same manner amount of light absorbed and the amount of light emitted will be different. So that line spectra of each and every element will be distinct in nature, and they will not correlate with any other element. This leads to the conclusion that bound electrons cannot have just any amount of energy, but only certain amount of energy. These electrons used to absorb some amount of energy and used to emit some other amount of energy. So that will be unique for each and every element. So that line spectrum of each and every element is different, and based on that, you can identify what element it is. Right. So let us go with the postulates of Bohr's atomic model. Niels Bohr proposed the electrons in an atom occupy stationary orbits. Okay, so when the central nucleus is present and it is composed of nucleons having combination of neutrons and protons, around this nucleus here electrons are traveling in their fixed paths. Those are called orbits. These are called stationary orbits, and will not vary. That path will not be changed. If they are used to migrate from one path to another path, what happens? They will collide with another electrons, and there is a possibility of collapse of an atom. So our atom never collapsed in its natural sense. That's the reason why they are revolving in their fixed path, and they will not interact with other element or other electron which are moving in another path, right? So in their fixed path, these electrons are moving and different distances from the nucleus. Each and every subshell having their own circumference, and that is revolving in their stationary orbits. Now, let us move on to another concept of these postulates of Bohr's model. When an electron jumps from the lower energy level to higher energy level. So in this manner, let us assume there are several steps are there. Let us assume lower energy level is nothing but ground state, lower energy. So here lowest step will be there. By gaining energy, what happens is slowly moving to next level, and from this another level, and from this another level. So in this way, so when an electron is moving from one energy level to another energy level by hopping or by jumping, so this is called the ground state transition into excited state. Obviously, lower energy state is regarded as a ground state, and whenever energy is absorbed, that will be excited into the next level. and it absorbs the energy, and emission energy is possible whenever electron from the higher energy to lower energy back shifting is possible, right? So here an electron is there in the higher energy level, so that by emitting energy it will be coming back to the next level or lower level. So this is a system called emission. So while moving from lower to higher, always absorption of energy is possible, and when it is moving from higher to lower, emission of energy is possible. So here both are represented in the single diagram here. You can clearly observe a single diagram represented here. Energy absorbed. How the energy absorbed when we are moving from energy level, lower energy level to a higher energy level, it is required to absorb the energy, so that arrow is indicating upward. So when we are moving from top to bottom, so arrow is indicating towards the downward. When energy level from 6th to 2nd, we need highest amount of energy, that is 14 nanometers of amount of energy is required, and 5th energy to 2nd energy level. So this kind of emission, which is emitted as a 432 nanometers of energy, 4th to 2nd level of energy, it is emitted as a 486 nanometers of energy, and a 3rd level to 2nd level, 656 nanometers of energy will be emitted. This is represented in the form of its wavelength of energy. Wavelength of energy is represented. This is a kind of system called emission. When the emission is possible, when the electron is moving from higher to lower energy level, it used to emit the radiation. So when the absorption of radiation is possible, when electron is jumping or moving or hopping from lower energy level to higher energy level, in that case, it requires the extra energy that is taken in the form of absorption of energy. So here both are represented in the single diagram. This is a kind of postulate given by Niels Bohr. Niels Bohr in its atomic spectrum. Now let us move on to another postulate of Bohr's model. The energies of electron in an atom can have only certain values. All the energy levels are fixed. All the energy levels are having quantized energy. Quantized energy in the sense, the energy which can be measurable, which you can measure, quantify, that is called a quantized energy. Okay, so here in each and every energy level, you can say initial level is called the ground level, whose energy is denoted as E1, and the next level is called E2, and the next is called E3, E4, E5. In this manner, different levels of energy will be there as we are moving from ground level to excited state level. Each and every energy level having their own fixed amount of energy, that is denoted with the delta E is equal to h nu. This is the system which used to measure its own energy. Here n will be there, n denotes what principal quantum number. It may be 1, 2, 3, 4. In that manner, gradually you can increase. Here it is clearly measured. Here the central nucleus will be there with a positive charge, and the different shells are indicated with n is equal to 1, n is equal to 2, n is equal to 3. Principal quantum numbers are indicated, right? So here energy of each level is denoted with E1, E2, E3, and each level is said to be a quantized one. Quantized is nothing but which is measurable. You can calculate exact energy of that level, and even after certain years or certain days, that energy remains same. So that is called a quantized energy level. So if you want to meet that energy level, you have to gain some energy from lower to higher. If you're coming from that quantized energy to lower level, you will emit that amount of energy, so that emission is possible. In that way, each and every energy level having its own quantity of energy, that is called a quantized energy levels. The states corresponding to these energies are called as stationary orbit. Stationary states and possible values of energy are called energy levels. These energy levels are denoted with E1, E2, E3, E4. As we are ascending up, as we are moving up, what happens? Energy gradually increases, because as the principal quantum number increases, in the exponential way, its energy is also raised. And another postulate is the lowest energy state always regarded as a ground state. When the electron are absorbing energy, so that it will be excited into next level or next level, that is said to be a excited state. For example, if the electron is present in the first level, n is equal to 1 principal quantum level, that is said to be a ground state, because lowest principal quantum number is there, that is said to be a ground state level. And when extra energy or external energy is supported to this one, then electron will be excited into next level, or subsequent penultimate shell is also possible. And the next postulate of a Bohr's model will be what happens when the electron gains energy. When it is taking energy, what it will do. So if you are given with any extra energy, what you will do. So here also electron, being it is a smaller one and without any mass, what happens? The electron moves in the higher energy level. By taking energy, what happens? So that will move on to always there is a progress. Always there should be a progress. In the same manner, electrons also having such kind of nature to or move from lower to higher energy level. So in that way, the electron will get excited. So here electron is there in the first energy level, lower principal quantum number, that is said to be a ground state by taking a photon of energy. So external energy is applied to that. When what happens, this electron will move on to any other subshell. Here, first to second subshell electron got moved. So that you can say this level, first one is said to be a ground state and the last one is said to be excited one. So in this way, electron by taking extra energy, it will forward to any other level that is said to be an excited state. Now, another postulate of hydrogen atom Bohr's model, does the electron retain the energy forever? After getting energy, whether that energy accommodated by the electron forever. So as long as electron is carrying energy, that will be in the excited state, always moving on to another level. While moving, it is doing some work. So while going to one level to another level, what happens? It is doing some work. For that purpose, it will expend. It will spend its energy to move on to lower to higher energy level. The electron loses energy and comes back to the ground state. The energy emitted by the electron is seen in the form of electromagnetic energy and wavelength of energy visible region. Then emission line is appeared in the visible region only. Right. So when extra energy is provided, what happens? Electron will excited into the energy level. So if it want to move on to another ground state level, what happens? It is coming back. Just now we discussed in the earlier session. What happens? Electron is moving back. While moving back, what happens? Different amount of energy released based on the energy transmission from higher to lower level. So if sixth subshell to second subshell, if electron is moving, 14 nanometers of energy is required. When fifth to second transition is possible, 432 nanometers, and fourth to second, 486 nanometers of energy. And when it is moving on from third to second level of energy, it is it is a very small distance, so that here 656 nanometers of energy is required. All these are measured in terms of its wavelength, right? So in that way, while coming back from the excited to ground state, it will participate in the emission spectra. In the visible region, if it is possible, you can observe the bright lines in the line spectrum. So that will be characteristic of a hydrogen atom, so that you can easily distinguish hydrogen from any other elements. Right. Now let us move on to another postulates of a Bohr's model of hydrogen atom. Bohr's model explains all the line spectra observed in the case of hydrogen, and it is successful model. Whatever the characteristics are present for the hydrogen, everything, each and every property is explained by this Bohr's atomic model, which was formulated by Niels Bohr. The efficiency is extremely large, right? So here, a successful model as far as line spectra of hydrogen atom, only hydrogen atom when considered, it is 100% successful, because all the properties and all kind of speculations, whatever present, everything got explained by this Bohr's model of hydrogen. But if you want to extend this theory to other than hydrogen, so all the properties are not able to explain by using Bohr's model. Right. So here, in accordance with this Bohr's atomic model, delta E is given by minus RH into 1 by NF square minus Ni square. So this is the energy pertaining to the electron, which is present in different subshells of these fixed orbits, because already we know that all the energy levels are quantized. So energy difference between one level to another is given by minus RH into 1 by NF square minus 1 by Ni square. RH denotes what? Rydberg constant, whose value is minus 2.179 into 10 to the power minus 8 joules. It can be represented in another way also. And delta E electron is equal to delta E photon. So because as long as we are supplying the external energy, then only electron excitement is possible. That depends upon the photon energy what we are supplying from the external source. This is the fundamental formula which can be employed in order to calculate the hydrogen atom energy. So this theory is 100% successful if we are applying to hydrogen. It is the simplest with the one electron system, right? So if you want to extend, it will be difficult. If you want to extend to other atoms of the periodic table, we have so many elements in the periodic table, so that Bohr's model may not explain all the properties of all the elements except hydrogen, right? So let us see high resolution model of hydrogen line spectrum. Previously, we saw the line spectrum of hydrogen. It is clearly mentioned in this diagram. This is the kind of system line spectrum of hydrogen. These are the lines pertaining to hydrogen, so that you, by using this spectra, you can clearly assume the given element is hydrogen. Now, what we are doing, we are increasing the resolution of this spectrum, spectroscopic analysis. If the resolution is raised, what happens? You can understand, instead of a series of lines, you can observe the bunch of lines in that. But the line spectrum of hydrogen atom, when observed through the high resolution spectroscope, a group of lines will be observed. In this manner, different group of lines will be there. So these lines are corresponding to from whichever the subshell, if electron is coming back to first level of the ground state, that is said to be a Lyman series. These bunch of lines corresponding to Lyman series. And second is about Balmer. Balmer is nothing but whichever the subshell is there. From higher energy level to, if electron is transmitted to n is equal to 2, that energy level corresponding to Balmer series. If excited level electron is coming back to the subshell of n is equal to 3, that is said to be a Paschen series. And the next, if electron from higher level to n is equal to 4 level, it is transmitting back, then it is said to be a bracket series. And excited electron, if coming into n is equal to 5 energy level, that is said to be a Pfund series, right? Lyman series observed in the region of ultraviolet, Balmer series in the region of visible region. That's why here colored spectra was indicated, being visible as a VIBGR. Paschen series observed in the near infrared region, bracket series in the far infrared region, and the Pfund is observed in the far infrared region. So these are the different bunch of lines which observed when we are increasing the resolution of the spectrum. Under normal conditions, single lines will be possible. Those single lines again splitting into these levels 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One is said to be a Lyman, second is Balmer, third is Paschen. Bracket and Pfund levels are visible under high resolution conditions, right? And next is about postulates of Bohr's model in continuation. So just now we discussed that it is purely explained till hydrogen, from hydrogen to till hydrogen only, because one and only one atom is successfully explained by Bohr's model. But we have certain limitations with this theory. Being it is highly efficient, we have to appreciate for all these postulates, but we have to go with what are the drawbacks with this theory also. Did Bohr's model account for the splitting of line spectra of hydrogen atom into the finer lines? Why these splitting of lines are possible? Under high resolution, why these many lines are visible? And what is the reason for that one? So Bohr's model unable to explain this high resolution spectra of hydrogen and cannot be employed for other than hydrogen also. These are the main drawbacks with this Bohr theory. But we have to take the appreciation for this one, being it is a first model to explain the atomic structure. That's the reason why from this we got modified into a modern theory also. That's the reason why Bohr's model laid the foundation in order to get the initiation for the atomic structure, right? So here the limitation will be why the splitting of lines into so many, why these many bunches of lines are observed in the high resolution spectra is not clearly explained by this Bohr's model. By this, when the invention of next theory came, always there is an elevation and evaluation of new theories, then only science will be explored. That's the reason why, and then we will discuss about next theory called the Bohr-Sommerfeld model of atom in the next series. Thank you very much for your patience listening. Thank you one and all.